One of the most common criticisms about the Cybertruck is its safety. Many are complaining that Tesla has been irresponsible as the truck will kill pedestrians easily. Today, we're going to review the safety of the vehicle not just for pedestrians as compared to other cars, but to the driver and passengers as well. The Cybertruck is not just a marvel on the outside, it's the inside that matters. And most importantly, it's all the features like performance, utility, and yes, safety. You'll find out more about that today. We've got Brian White with us. He's got his own YouTube channel called MyTeslaWeekend. And he and I have been talking about this for quite a while, but I'd like him to walk me through the safety. Welcome, Brian.
Great to be here. This is exciting. We finally got to see all the things we needed to see, and now we have answers.
This one's actually very surprising because I know that we all understood that it's going to be a safe car for the passengers and drivers. I didn't know, it turns out, that it's going to be safe for the for the pedestrians as well. So let's take a look at this tweet by Elon. So first, this is Omar from Holmar's blog, and he said that the narrative that the Cybertruck is dangerous for pedestrians is complete BS. Take a look at this Ford F-150 and a Cybertruck side by side. That wall of a truck will take a pedestrian out quick. Cybertruck's sloped front and the AI active safety are way safer than traditional trucks. So if you look closer at the photo here, these are normal trucks. Look how high they are. So people think that because of the way Cybertruck looks, that it's so dangerous. But actually, it's a lot safer if it hits a pedestrian. And in fact, it doesn't even the hood even pop forward or something like that to reduce the hit. And Elon replied, says, yeah, we're highly confident that Cybertruck will be much safer per mile than other trucks, both for occupants and pedestrians. Comments on that?
For sure. If you go back to the picture, you'll see that the lower angle of the hood, the Ford, if you get hit by that, you can see Jason's not an outrageously tall or short. I mean, he's a good, maybe a hair above average. It's going to get him right in the rib cage versus, you'd like it to be just below the hip so that your whole body can flop onto the hood. But the Cybertruck is still definitely safer in that regard. And the Hummer's getting you right up around the middle of the rib cage. If those are legal, why isn't this? And then the next thought on it is that you're saying, but the metal it's so strong, it's going to tear, a person. Anything at that speed is going to tear a person. Plastic will cut into you, will cause problems. And if the only problem is that the front can't be stainless steel, that's very easy to fix. You can replace the bumper and the front grille with a different material that's not stainless steel, and that's it. You're done. That's all it took, because those are not structural elements in that regard. We also heard people saying, if you looked at the wreck, the one that's sitting outside that people got to look at close up, you'll see, well, there's no crush cans. But as you'll show in a minute, I'm sure on the actual crash test footage, the other trucks don't have a whole lot of crush either. So it's, I think, going to be less of an issue than many of the skeptics think.
Okay. So let's just a couple more points to reinforce the safety for pedestrians. What you were saying was fantastic. The height is important, and this Cyber Zev pointed this out. So likely way safer for pedestrians than any other pickup. The low front means it won't impact pedestrians' organs, like you just said. These newer Chevys and such are ridiculous how tall they are. And he shared this photo. I don't know where it comes from, but it looks like it's some sort of study. It says comparative risk of pedestrian fatality by hood, leading edge, height, and shape. So this is, Brian, this is a baseline, so just a normal sedan, right? Less than or equal
Looks
to
like
30
it.
inches. That's what it is. So if you take that black outline and you compare it to other kind of cars, some of these are much higher. And so they already know that pedestrian safety is absolutely correlated with this. And so having a Cybertruck, which does not have these huge, tall, and blunt kind of scenarios, but actually sloped up, that makes all the difference.
And that medium blunt looks kind of like it could be about Cybertruck-ish, but it's more, it's leaning forward a bit, which the Cybertruck does not. But even still, it's not, it's not as bad. Well, the one next to it,
I know that it's not blunt,
one?
though.
Oh, right.
I think it's blunt.
Right. And that's what I mean is even still, we've got, it's still going to be, if you look at a Mercedes G-Wagon, those are brick walls. If you look at the Hummer, if you look even at transit vans, hey, it's pure physics. When that many newtons come at you that hard, it's gonna cause a problem no matter what. Humans are fragile. And of course, the best accident remains no accident, and pedestrian safety is leading on Teslas. Tesla has very good accident avoidance compared to anybody else. So that can't be overlooked.
Nope. Okay, and then the safety of the driver and the passengers it's going to be the safest car ever made. More than the Y and the 3, that's already the safest cars ever made. So let's just take a look at some of the actual crash test itself. This is the view here, fairly dense.
And
Does
still
not
doesn't
roll over.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Beautiful.
Okay. And then
and
that's
and I'd love to know the speed at which it does roll over. I'm sure that's known, but that is a very unusual sort of scenario, hitting basically a dead stop from 16 miles an hour.
And then let's watch a video from Jason Camisa. Fantastic video. This part was great. So he's going to share with you what he thinks about the safety.
Are you kidding me? We're talking about Tesla here. This is so nuts. So this is a 3,100 pound cart, 1,400 kilos, and it just hit the side of the Cybertruck at 33.5 miles an hour. And you're looking at it, it's barely deformed. And that's because of the stainless steel exoskeleton. In fact, didn't even break the door glass. All it did was just flop the wiper over. After a crash test that totals most cars, the Cybertruck would be back on the road with 2 new doors, airbags, and some trim. Don't forget, this is the company who made the Model S, which not only broke the record for the safest vehicle ever tested, but was so strong it actually broke the testing equipment, and then broke the scoring system by earning 5.4 stars out of a possible 5.0. The Model X, too, broke its test when they couldn't get it to roll over to measure rollover safety. Then the Model 3 beat them both, becoming the safest car ever tested. And then the Y beat it, too. We haven't seen any frontal crash tests, but if Tesla's safety record is any indication, the Cybertruck's strong structure and heavy weight will make this one of the world's safest vehicles to be inside of.
There you go. Very well done.
Yeah. It's a great presentation. They do great work. Jason's whole team is fantastic. So the interesting thing is, if you've ever looked inside of a door, you'll see that it's got a beam that runs across it to keep T-bone accidents from coming through your door and into your compartment. This does not have that. The best cross beam inside your door is no cross beam inside your door. The skin has the structural integrity to keep cars out. And if you got T-boned at 30, 35 miles an hour, like seen there, in any car, you would just assume, looking over, this car is about to come into my compartment. And it ain't. That's not what's going to happen.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I do have a question for you, though, because I did watch this video, and I just needed to understand.
And if you're having an argument with another car, you will win.
So if we're looking at this, Brian, right? So this one is against the wall. These other guys are smaller kind of thing. So people are right away saying that that's not a fair comparison. The rear airbag did not turn on. And then, the question is there enough of a crumple zone? But clearly it's going to be safer. But how do you evaluate this video?
Sure. So it is unfair, but it is unfair to the Cybertruck. And if you look on a lot of them, you can see it doesn't give as much, it doesn't crumple as much. But what you need to look at is the driver, is the people in it. And if you look up, there's a lot of comparison videos on X you can find of side by side, the Cybertruck and other vehicles crashing into just a straight wall like that. And you'll see that even though some of them may appear to give a little more, the passengers, the occupants, the driver, still get a bigger jolt in those other vehicles. The F-150 has a lot less crush than you think. And even though the Cybertruck, it stopped all the way, just right there, it doesn't have a lot of room to crush. And the beauty is there isn't a giant engine about to come bursting through your firewall at you, which is something that legacy vehicles, of course, suffer from, is there's no room up there. So it is my first impression of the wall test was that it didn't give enough. And then upon looking at how the dummy fared, it fared just fine. So I'm not worried about that at all.
Exactly. That's a good point. To watching how fast this dummy hit the airbags. Anyways, I'm sure they have this figured out. We will see the actual score from NHTSA or this safety ratings, and this is going to just be through the roof. If the Y got 5.4, this is going to be 6 or something like that. It's a very, very safe car. And then what we just shared today is not only safe for the passenger and the driver, it's going to be safe for the pedestrians. And I point that some people are saying, I'm noticing that many women, females, are buying or are showing interest in a Cybertruck. We've shared this stat before in our past live stream that 93% of all truck buyers are male at this point. But there's a good sign that Cybertruck is going to be well received by females because of safety. They like to sit up high. My own wife preferred the minivan because she felt that it was sitting up high. She has a commanding view and she felt safer. Just that alone might be enough to get, we'll see the interest.
Yeah, I agree. There's I've talked to, after our videos about this, I've seen a lot of comments saying, I am a woman and I am buying this. Or we will add one to the family and it will be my wife's car. So it is, it is more, I think this reaches across the gender divide better than vehicles before it.
Especially the way it drives, because apparently it's incredibly smooth and just quiet and so forth. The reason why my wife liked the minivan was that she felt like it was like driving. It's the Toyota minivan. It was very much driving like a sedan. Like it felt so easy to drive, not this big truck thing. And so the Cybertruck could feel the same way. But
anyone who's ever driven a Tesla can tell you they are the easiest cars to drive that you've ever driven.
Absolutely.
And this is just an extension of that.
All right. Follow Brian on his YouTube channel, MyTeslaWeekend. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.